Bangu twakwitsyaho amakuru kurugaheru nyinda kutangira umuhereza kabutosha nde izedi omwishikatwa karahanga igambirine wonyini omwana wabakama mwen mutabaruche yonye mwazyo ayimbarekire nagamagingo kushanga ngo mwenda kumanya ebyabaho kandi agency okweri n'agency okwe kugenda kwe kutambura kurebeka ngo twena twabasa kuba nitumanya ebikugenda mu misho kandi twabasa kuba tutambura aha PSMwe mbwen kamba kiri guno murundi mwebara kunda Sky Express na Sky TV oborenje emburu muhona mpaka erijoba US America yekoze mu murumo yabasa kuba nebasa kuchumbagiza China bwanyuma ya China kurugayo ekajirabura obutabahika hihi obutareta mahegabo na base zawo hihi nabo mwena America erabiro mbukodyo bundi kukunkushobora nyamwazyo America ino bukodyo winji yabasa kuba negamba ngo China icyekoze ningashi ecyekoreta kirimo makuru nakamwe Israel ebyayo byachongera kuguma ebyayo byachongera kugumana no kuza mu mwonyo obuhazambuke bwe gukora birebi kandi na tension z'Iran okubahayira Iran eremireho etinyo Israel mwakoraki no mwakoraki ninde wako batonyeza nda kwatonyeza oruviri nkegari mbase kureba numanye gari yaho mu ruviri abo kuma kuvuga gari yaho mu ruviri no tabura no shanga oruviri rwaho mwatu watanka oruviri rwaho mu ruzigere atama kutonyeza ngo oruviri rwazamu hato no garuko munomo osota mpora kuri akantu abasa kugenda omumisho mwene Iran izete ninde kwa kubagarra mu ruviri Israel inchebe ko ruviri rubarigiremo mwakwata speed yabarenga babeta bwiruka mwarengano wanyu mwen kanze mbatonyeze manze mucenge FBI yarga yarabura obutuju obukwenda korwa omahanga nga Bufaransa Bungereza tireho nanagandi na America na yota jitwariremo na Italy FBI shoza reporta yajangwa America shayona bayemba kugitera kana nebishaye byenyonyi ebishaye by'umupira nabyo mwegendesereza na munonga Champions League abatuju bayemba targetinga kutera boom ombishayi bakureba ko Champions League mwene izabezero zone so yarga yarabura ebyona Russia nayo ekiriyo na Ukraine meda kuteka yo mugwambukaga teka yo rukiko rwa peace rukwasa kutensaganya byemerembe kugira ngo barete hobusingi Putin yashashero montomi ate mukora byona nkasasoro agona na nyayize di omushikatwa karange gambirine wanyini omwana bakama Express show kankutangirira n'ugundi murundi kureba kankutobasa kugenda umisho kantu amanya ebikutambura mbweni nyamazyo nkugambire nti bwanyuma ya America kubasa kurikiriza ebigambo bya China erikwekarakasa ekajereti manya mama na kompisa hihi besi zamahe niza kubakora ho bushaho hat America na yegizire ngo China okirya kana haritwe omumagezi na nombikorwa kandi agamateka ntumaga kuratira amateka ntumaga kora buchimo kitukora tukuratira amateka kandi tukunyiga China yakarga yitombuita due to the fears of geopolitical influence okutina omumyanya yayo China iyo kurebera hana yo nkagamba ntati enshongeri yo munsi yona politics tuzakiri ezaman kugira ngo manya ogogo yagirati nebyo send ati twine geopolitics nebyo butegeki ekwembe kwato myanya like emyanya lands oba nko territories kari kanze tenga territory nyane muzumanya kushanga politics erho ninka nyomwazya nyomwaje mu ishengero ryitwa Uganda owishtinisa honorable ogo wakazo Dan Kimosho arigire mu ishengero ati nyo speaker kamanze mbuze eti district says twetoriroku ati nyoni nchekirite ishajaza rya kazo ngwe twahurra hati district says twetoriroku zona nezerra ngo banyishengerito batahibitu nabo bokuyo mataka gabantu mwena hati ibyo butegeki beka no mataka kantu jango butegeki no kurebera abantu bawe ukabijuka bateze zo parliament ukabatwara yebutumwa obusasi bwo ukabareto parliament bakabuhurura nkanda hatito ba MP nito twoyongera yo tukurete ebyo Dan Kimosho yayagira ati at for example district neighboring district yanjye netungaka kumu honorable Theodore Sekikubo at Sekikubo akuyise akati omukwibita karya batuze omu constituencies nane myanye twehererire atatu wano shanganka honorable Sekikubo na ibitaka agakatekamu arabero mbandi kutinisiriza abantu kubanyaga amataka gabo atwana twahikankai ishengero hati nyenda kutega kumanyisa kugira ngo bya hate byikire ibyo tegeke byona bigiremu kwamba umwanya kurango wayongera yo buhango geopolitics nizo kutegana sato munsi yitu China ekargayo yenda kuhamba maritime corridor yona ya South China Sea America yagireti toza kubona banisa mahanga agatakwerwanaho kurebuka ngo wabasa kuba no bacumitiriza ningashi no ba like bateka kubunkenke tinza kwikiriza amahanga gano gazana na mutwe ukahambita karyabo ukahambaza island zabe bizinga byabo ngiyo China ina man America yarabera hansi yene naye kubyeta mamu ngakugira nti America na ronde bisiskire ibiri nene rebo opportunity nene rebo mugisha mbwen America ejenzire yaito mu rukiko Japan yaito mu rukiko Philippines yaito mu rukiko Australia nagandi enshongozi bembatensaho no kugira ngo bakombayine ngamahe bakora mu mukagugwa mahe babase kubatambira kubacungura emskaskano ya China ko kugene hamba ebichweka byamahanga gandi nakazi ngaka kurana na Japan mwene ibintu bibiri mu rukiko ngaruke nebindi producer bawe anyway tukujena mmisho producer nchireba kanawe ibyoma bya mucyankara naho kace urukiko ko rurero rutambura batensize ukomukura ya screen nawo batensa bagira ngo America na Japan begito mbya teknolojia kandi bagitemu na manira niyo Philippines bagitemu babase gukora omukagugwa mahe ba training hamwe amahegabo gabere agaba kugumunonga gine aman Japan emikurano ningashe minyururano yeyine eminyurana yeyine na China yabase kwa nechendera abo kuja mu China ne bazana sate bine backup mwenebe nibe biriyo omurukiko
White House summit in a bid to show that they are in lockstep about countering China's military assertiveness. During the opening remarks, the US president declared the trilateral summit with Japan and the Philippines as a new era of partnership, and Biden said he was committed to deepening maritime and security ties with the two allies. Further adding that Washington's support for Manila and Tokyo is ironclad, as he assured his allies worried about increasing assertiveness by China in the disputed waters.
President, Mr. Prime Minister, Today, we mark a historic moment, the first ever Leaders Summit between the United States, Japan, and the Philippines. And it's truly an honor to have you both here as we begin this new era of a partnership. The United States defense commitments to Japan and to the Philippines are ironclad. They're ironclad.
The long simmering tensions between China and its neighbors took the center stage. According to White House, the leaders have agreed to step up military exercises, including plans for Philippine and Japanese Coast Guard members to patrol aboard a U.S. Coast Guard vessel in the Indo-Pacific. The allies also plan to conduct more training exercises at sea.
Japan, the US, and the Philippines are maritime nations connected by the Pacific Ocean and are natural partners. We share fundamental values and principles and have supported regional economic development. In order to secure peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific, I hope to reaffirm our intention to further strengthen trilateral cooperation and to present the specific way forward through today's meeting.
Maritime security topped the summit agenda following a series of incidents, including Chinese Coast Guard ships firing water cannons last month at a civilian's Filipino boat. This comes as China claims almost the entire South China Sea, including the maritime economic zones of neighboring nations. The second Thomas Shoal is within the Philippines' 320-kilometer exclusive economic zone. Meanwhile, during the trilateral, Biden also announced that the three nations are launching a new economic corridor in the Philippines as part of the G7 Partnership for Global Infrastructure Investment. According to the American president, the economic corridor will help develop clean energy, port, agriculture, and other projects in the country.
Of a peaceful, stable
Sky Express Show. Hatio n'urukiko ruberumu Japan, Philippines hamwe na America. Buri omwe nahayo enshongaze China bire China. South China Sea agamiz agariyo mashuma ga China. China nehwayo deno mu cyanze cyhango harimo umwanya gubayise South China Sea. China kajeshoka mune kajebanza yageta South China Sea. Konkagamiz gari ahagatigati y'amahanga nkatanu. Mpako mape yo producer screen abo bagirabe. So agamize ginkugambira ninjano mugareba. China neje ya yero emukureba mu cyenju. Omucyenju ndihangari ya China. Ndukoma hari konka waza kusuma kuno kureba mu Malaysia hariyo China aho ntako kureba muri yero omuyihangerindi China nahe kunyururana na nihangeryo. For example yakashuma mu Vietnam no ja Vietnam kujetorora agamija gona gari yaho China yakaga neba kugirira ngwagamizi na gitu gona eshuma mu Malaysia hari yakazinga akokora muri yero nako yakefuga ngwakazinga nakanje ngunyabura China tojena mpora keri umihangari yita kazinga kana mukare kakari side witu habonchi mutakora kakababiki itu eria etinakanje erukangaza mu Brunei no kireba cyona kizinga cyona cyatwiro nano mwanya gona gwo kwenda kuhamba orugazo Philippines yero kureba ahansi eruguru nkai obuzinga bwona nenda ko buzinga ho China ore Taiwan okorebana na Japan kuri ruguru ejiye no kureba mwenaga ogumwanya go kureba kurugaho haro Taiwan haro Vietnam Malaysia Brunei Philippines agataho ni South China Sea hato gumwanya gwa kubire nuguba no gusharingwa agamahanga gona buri hanga rikabende bwandu kozesa agamiz tutwanjara mu territories harimo kujangwa iri hanga kabende koma harukoma ngo kwa kureba katwosenke nyanja ya Victoria. Inyanja ya Victoria negabanwa mu Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya ninjani mujumanya mu Uganda konka harimo inshara gataho iyo nwasa kureba kujango nekiyanza shona nenyanja ekusharinga amahanga ashatu Victoria, Uganda na Kenya konka gataho omiz mpabar mu insharo yokureka ngo Uganda no kumaha, Tanzania no kumaha, Kenya no kumaha. Mwene warenga ensharo sharejo njanchi mashango wataha omiz agihangerindi hati yo China ezo nsharo zone ziri hagatomu tekwenda kuzireba yo nende hambaho agamizi gona gabase kuba gayo ebase kuyaho Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines gona nende gajihambeho garga gomegari nkogari ekintu ekitakwasa kwikirizibwa amahanga gandi mwen ekyo shiryawo ntugenda mu misho hata America niyo yatahiremu ekajya pana agamahanga bo kugira ngo China negakizamani negerwanaho konka nagairwanaho tukabasa kudefeatinga China gargonka mwen America ne extend injiro mukuno ekajya temutafayo omwaka gw'2023 ogumwaka guhwire mu kwa kabiri America ekasaininga endagano ya enhanced defense cooperation mwene endagano yo kongera mu amano mu defense yamahega Philippines kwatagana ga America mbena ko government America yone opportunities neronda hera gobere hati yamayangu yiza nko Philippines for example yajangu yaza kora defense pact basa kuyikirizana America ejongere mu bukodyo America etendeka mahega Philippines ekikumanyisa ngo naza kujengera katika yo military base yitu mu Philippines nene barakahi yaba kuzo Philippines aheri yabo kujya map mwencanchi manyisa ngo neberi hihi na China naye ajetorora hati yo nenda kwirira hihi na nihanga buri hanga ryona riye kureba ngo ne basa kuba nigenda kujiza rakantu ninja mukareba ko bene next singa za Poland nirukanga kugira ngo za Latvia za Estonia zona zirukanga zigenda mu NATO kugira ngo wundi kabasa kuteka yo base kugira ngo yirire hina Russia hati niyo ideology yemwe ye kukoresa hati agama hangaga China ko genzere babogora ngo bayi etkare umurikiko bajanka babanze bongeze yo package bajervising bongeremu na nebindi already at the basis 14 ezaine Philippines military bases 14 ezo nizo koro mukago gwamahe ga Philippines kujanga gite na ga America bawase korihe ere kubasa protectinga ninga sere kubasa kuma South China Sea territory ya Philippines China itakwasa kusali imberayo abwenchi China ne rwane rege South China Sea ogomwanya agamiza wo kureba ngakira kuraba mu emere mpango zo bushobozi nizo kuraba zanzarwa mu West Asia mnongo ko China zanzarga no kwetorora umurasha kuija kugira zanzarga no mu Japan zirabaho South China Sea zirabaho zitemba zishuma zigenda hato gomwanya ni mangu yabasa gukontrolinga emishono nene garuko wayo ekya kabiri ogomwanya gumukurebera guri mwene gwine by'inyanja byingi munonga ninjani masa kwebuza ati nyanja yona ketombe by'inyanja harimo inyanja ekobere mu by'inyanja byingi kukiza aha mwanya gundi mwen in rich fishing grounds emiju okujuba ba fishermen baho nugo murumo niyo mfuna mwene hone mangu ya controllinga ne basaku yamu nkabante mishoro yabajubi ekya kabiri South China Sea abasayansa omwaka gwa 2022 bakija bapima bamanya ngo harimo oiro yadeteka bire machuwa konka harimo oiro hati China uko yoneremera umunonga nenda ku gazeti ngo mwanya kugira ngo eguhambire cyumwe oiro y'amachuwa ringa ebenebe ya China itari yamahanga gandi ga Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan ningashi na Brunei kugira ngo nago gagabaneho ha China nenda controlling ngo mwanya gona egumemu mwenchi warebere kugira ngo yakaga yitombo itango America tukwenda tufike hihi akwa ne mango America nabagezi ni bakuhweraga mahanga gandi gabase kuteka mu oruvuyo har China kind of which had for example ehingambira omuri Philippines Amerika ine amahe 500 agatakurugayo agatini gakuza kugira ngo buri joba abasirikare 500 bona barumu then ine amahe 10 akuban getorora ngakora exercises ngajya ngakora koromoni ngatwara ku rescue departments ko buyambi koherezo buyambi ebyo konkataga n'amahegona aga America gari mu Philippines hata shaeje ene yongera kugira ngo standardizing base military base zayo ekikumanyisa ngo China ne yazabonkenge hata Philippines yanerumba amahega China maritime corridor ya South China Sea ekikumanyisa ngo America niyo kone backinga Philippines abarakutere tobali n'Amerika nuko no reba Philippines konkana America nabo barumu hacha inecho niche kutina niche takwendera kimwe America kugenda mahanga gari konka by international law ihanga ari kutegeka iteka ari kutegeka amahanga gona internationally ihanga rya yesimira rikashabo buyamo mihanga irindi muije twabaherezo mwanya muteko base mu training eki na neki iyo tino kuyijiramo kuyaho nkihanga rya yangire iyo kagenda ku impactinga mpaka ukateka base international law no waju violatinga mweno no fubirwa konki yangari ari kushabere hatinganye mwazi yo Taiwan Philippines na Japan Philippines ne bemberwa bongo Marcos Jr ayibe na Fukushima bagyo mu ori America no beshabiri America nikakokodiko kosa yone kurabera mu ijamba he mukono hata bebeto mu Washington mu ijambo shitama mutensa bajya kandi hatutazuri mu Washington tukasayininga ito mukarantu zo muri Japan ba Japan babizire kunu na Philippines zanizire kureka shaba kuye kombe America yeko atwara hands yabagambe kibarakore ngo mageze ga America kugira ngo ebene kahi na threats hako nkagambara China according the global fire ranking position eri mu cyakashatu ina man eri mu cyakashatu China on percent the biggest economy the second largest economy mwene America neta ko cyegera China umungeri yona bikiriyaho hata yinkugambira America yaza ya leta nyonyi za flying jets zikurwana fighter jets mu Philippines kandi yaza kureta entekateka zorohati nizo ku extendinga aircraft carrier ni kiba kige kimere cyango ekikwe ko renyonyi enwanyi ncyakire henyonyi ncyakire gore cyayi ncyakire cyango munonga mwe nacyo ekiriza hihi omizga Philippines hatorebe China okujja no gumano rwanira South China Sea America mwajihura ezo mu rujungu zizikweta geopolitics aga nugo makuru.
2014, legal and political challenges in the Philippines put the full implementation of the agreement in doubt. Under the pact, US has secured access to a total of 9 Philippine military bases, including 4 additional ones identified in April 2023. As per the Foreign Policy Research Institute, the proximity of most of the bases to Taiwan and South China Sea makes them valuable for military contingencies in the region. The boost in the number of bases US can access supports its broader plans to disperse its forces more widely across the Indo-Pacific region. Under the pact, the two countries began joint maritime patrols in the South China Sea. They also planned for US to rotate its troops through Philippine military bases, improve their facilities and preposition military hardware at them. The relationship between the US and Philippines is recovering from the presidency of Rodrigo Duterte, who was uniquely antagonistic towards Washington. His successor, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., has returned the Philippines to its more traditional pro-American stance. Now, in 2023, the two countries held their largest ever annual Balikatan military exercise in terms of the personnel involved. He also resumed joint maritime patrols in the South China Sea. Perhaps the best sign of closer ties was Manila's willingness to include a second group of 4 military bases to the initial group of 5 under the EDCA pact in February 2023. With its defense outposts on artificial islands, China claims almost all of the South China Sea. The Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan and Vietnam have conflicting claim lines in the South China Sea. The South China Sea is a key gateway for a large part of the world's merchant shipping as well, and it has rich fishing grounds and reportedly reserves of undiscovered oil and gas. A 2016 arbitral tribunal ruling invalidated China's claim in the strategic waters that Beijing says it does not recognize. Washington is expanding its military presence in Asia in a string of moves aimed at countering China and reassuring Indo-Pacific allies that it will stand with them. There are about 500 US troops in the Philippines on any given day, and thousands rotate in and out over the course of a year for military exercises, humanitarian aid, training and other missions. Manila allows American forces to stay in barracks within designated Philippine camps. US has increased its deployment of advanced military assets to the Korean peninsula, including fighter jets and aircraft carriers to boost joint training and planning. Combined drills include live-fire demonstrations, and aerial exercises have involved strategic bombers. US and Japan are enhancing anti-ship capabilities on the island of Okinawa. The small southern island of Magishima is key to joint exercises, amphibious operations and missile interception. Part of the world's merchant shipping as well, and it has rich fishing grounds and reportedly reserves of undiscovered oil and gas. A 2016 arbitral tribunal ruling invalidated China's claim in the strategic waters that Beijing says it does not recognize. Washington is expanding its military presence in Asia in a string of moves aimed at countering China and reassuring Indo-Pacific allies that it will stand with them. There are about 500 US troops in the Philippines on any given day, and thousands rotate in and out over the course of a year for military exercises, humanitarian aid, training and other missions. Manila allows American forces to stay in barracks within designated
Sky Express Show. Webere Munong. Mwen agency je ijwire butabanguko kandi ndibijitosha ninkugira ntense egwire enshazi abatakurumanya abandi bazeta bankiraro mwene agency netororo mukavuyo oba kwisetu bakabamazire mu ngaro nibachenda no mu kibo amahanga n'kwegari omururu ngo guretire agency yaba ngukweri Israel ejenzere yashunwa umuragaza central yatera yita abantu mushanju bayisire habarumu batabani bo mukuru Bahamas oba kweta Ismail Haniye yita batabani be bashatu bambi abamazire wirata ko bareba be bakabizire idi ajori ya idiri manyuma zo bwire bwo nkwisembe nyenda ko bagambirebe mwene kwa mazire kubita ambatana baje bashatu habaramuha Hazim Amir na Muhammad hazaba bebine na abizukuru abishi bashatu no mojomwe bakugenda kuza kurya idi Israel yabatera Israel tesherekere yaje no mu makuru igeti nito twabagitere jimotoka nito abasakubita bakugira ngo no potential akuba Bahamas ababa bino mukono gukurwana samwe bembatwara ekibinja echo kutekatekana no kurumba mahanga gandi bakwebembera abo ubutujyo kugenda no mahanga gandi mwene kutubaguyireho twajanka tubanyaze omushija ya riziga atona family yanje yona egende etyo Israel inza kubakorra ki Israel inza kubakete omuryo hariho obuvuyo still hati Iran yonje sereza chumwe etebe mukora mubikore istura bakwe mwa kuchireba Iran hati nerahira omwizina ya Allah nerahira mbu Israel numutekwa kareba Israel nkirebuka okumbe numusote gari nanabagambe gari wano jivuga indishitwe to ruviri orabe novuga kagaro kahurira ngo ruviri rwaragamo iyakuma kuvuga gari wano vuga gari nono samba kurunje gari no so tampora konkoro ruviri rwaragamo oruzegendo mwene oruzegendo warutachine furuwero waneta chikwata hati nigumandu wirukanga rutumugeze hati mwene Israel nayo erinko ruviro rurugiremo akuba yirukangire mununga speed echo nikiza kibana cyo kwakana ekagenda yatera ekitebe kyayo ekyo muri Damascus omuri Syria yasakwa n'ekitagisha butaka. Iran nejja n'obushaka kubaki nyoni ntaka kubatonyeza mukagaruka mu sense konka tekyekoronda n'omuringo gumwe gwo kubasa kukora orumba etatiremu America. Automatically no kimanya America wakwatara Israel n'wagikwataho konka ati nibaronda enjeri barateremu Israel. America etini hekwizira kubitahiramu ekibabuzire omuri ebyo tension za Iran na Israel hakubayo Israel negira ngwitwe twetekatekire kutera Iran kuba nehazambuka ekakora kantu kobusiru kati ayihangarya Israel nkane cya kabiri kuba numugeza mukarumya nka America mukagira mwagitera America ego bana ba Israel kuba numukigeza mukatera nko muri America yete kabatiri ndokosho mesishomo ngo America twagikwataho ejo ni Israel negambira Iran ngo Israel gambe uragambe konka mpaka ntweka kubonereza abo shikorwa cyokozire tukosa kwita abantu bitu mushanju tukakorekeraho mwene mu mbereje enseremo katabango hata cya drawinga amahanga mahango Russia yabtahamu yijaje kinyabura we Iran okorekera akore cyona konka otakwatore muri America bano ndo businge ejo ni Russia kurabura Iran korekera akore otakwata hari America. Germany na Bungereza nago gejwiremu gija gabaza kurumba gagambira foreign minister we mushongaza hero muri Iran umwami Amirador Haliban yamugira ngo gambira government yawe na defense ministry etashunwa yakakora hari America ombera akore byone bimurakore kuma amarekora America mengo rutaruhwa kandi turukuza kwa mwenu yetware oreka otaskaratinga mwenu otongeza rutaro already Rio West Asia norumara hati otare tortaro ruhango West Asia amahanga ganga kaferamu America kehurire Iran negumane hayaya nerondo imahanda yarabura America bona abakuturo muri Israel ngo buri America wena orurembo rwarumu atashobora kuzo mu rurembo rundi agumu mu rurembo rwarumu muri Israel yarabana security yayo muzano stand still Iran ishayo neza gukora kabi haza akabiya ko tukayenzire kabashanje muteteka tekire Iran ntona tishomesishomo yamara kore cyo busiru konkaza ni mumwe kume twabagambira yitwe nka America men enyonyi ezikuruga omuri America kuzira Iran Iran zimwe ziri muri lafta hansa kitongore cyo zisuspendingire entambara yazo kurwo muri Iran kuzo muri America za suspendinga zajangu na hati tichongiza yakahumuraka twakagache mukora akwamba mango shayona ijinyonyi yaberu mu America Iran basa kuhazambuka ebatere by the way abatakukimanya ihangari Iran nere hazambuki omahanga gutuyino mu hazambuki ni Iran tekutina ros nejitire kankufutere ekije kije kungato muryaka ningoja ngamahanga gandi gayonga bitahamu nigajigambira nyaburawe yetware wano kwa rakanto kakore kache ka Israel utakwatara na muna America wakwata America no byakubomwe noza kwa wale torotaro gota kumanya hati Iran chine studying situation ejo agango makuru ngaruche.
In fact, whoever harms us, I beg your pardon, we will harm them. We are prepared to meet all of the security needs of the state of Israel, both defensively and offensively. Israel Chief Military Spokesman Admiral Daniel Hagari said civilians were not being told to make any special preparations, but he added Tel Aviv was highly regarded for a range of scenarios. Yoav Gallant told U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin a direct Iranian attack will require an appropriate Israeli response. Iran's UN mission said the imperative to punish this rogue regime might have been avoided had Security Council condemned the strike and brought perpetrators to justice. Earlier, an Iranian news agency published an Arabic report on the X platform saying the airspace over Tehran has been closed for military drills. But it then removed the report and denied it had issued such news. As per reports, Israeli Air Force held drills simulating strike on Iranian soil. Now, the United States, Russia, Germany and Britain urged countries in West Asia to show restraint. U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said Secretary of State Antony Blinken called counterparts including the Turkish, Chinese and Saudi foreign ministers. As mentioned, Iran has reportedly signaled to the United States it will respond to Israeli attack on Syrian embassy in a way that aims to avoid major escalation, and it will not act hastily. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock called on her Iranian counterpart Hossein Amir Abdullah to urge maximum restraint to avoid further escalation. The German airline Lufthansa, one of the only two Western carriers flying to Tehran, extended a suspension of its flights to the Iranian capital. Russia's foreign ministry told citizens they should not travel to West Asia, especially to Israel, Lebanon and the Palestinian territories. British Foreign Minister David Cameron said on Thursday he had made clear to Amir Abdollahian that Iran should not draw West Asia into a wider conflict. Take a listen.
So obviously we don't want this conflict to spread. We've been very clear about that. And we've been very clear that to Iran that we're not involved in the Damascus strike, right? We've been also very clear. I'm not going to get into public back and forth. We communicated to Iran that the U.S. had no involvement in the strike, as I just mentioned, that happened in Damascus, and we warned Iran not to use this attack as a pretext to escalate further in the region or attack U.S. facilities or personnel.
The United States said it had restricted its employees in Israel and their family members from personal travel outside the greater Tel Aviv, Jerusalem and Beer Sheva areas.
Sky Express Show mwe wanonga mwami mwe bawazi tumwesije bawazi wa Mongolia sini ya muchintu eche niwe na ningusalutinga wewe mnonga kuborho noreba ogona we nefero combatant ombintu byamakuru gaheru nanaba kwaza a radio 5 oko mwen hati ebyona bikiriya ubuvuyona bukiryaho ijweri aba ISIS bakargaye bagira ngo bayine batekateka orumba orhango kutera no kunyangaraza amahanga agamwe hata muri yabe kugambe byo Israel rather America ekitongole kyayo ekyo bwambega obwa hati FBI yarabura ejire mu ishengero yabarabura omwami Christopher Wray niwe director akutwara ekitongole kya FBI omuri America Federal Bureau of Investigations ekitongole kikwata kuchondoza mpaka na mnonga mbintu byemishango shango erimo yo butuju na nebindi baragaye bagira ngo nyaburamwe mukiriyaho tiyentu bagambira kimwe na kindi America eri yareburebu America ni nshaba mwe kwate kurungi tuyino bukakafuna n'ubujurizi FBI yaji mugume mu gitini ni mwijuka Moscow obati ya Russia Moscow attack ubashango mu concert hall ya picnic bakabacutera masasi n'abandi FBI ikabarije yarabwire karabura kare ngo twino bujuruzi bwo kugira ngo Russia abatuju bemba kujurumba Russia amatu yagateka mu biti yayanga hataka bwire buro hataka arabiro hona no bwire bwinji Moscow cyabayo mwachimanya hati niyemwe America enegira ngo efunure obujuruzi bwo kugira ngo America hariho coordinated attacks nchanchi manisha hariho orumba orwabantu bechi binja batari chimwe hat for example nka ISIS ne basakwe gita abahuthi begite aba Hezbollah begita aba Kataibu aba Kataibu begite abarjish adun na begi mwana bahechera bona begite kwenda kutera nka America mwene bona forces abahechera bakuhakanasa Israel na America bona babasa kwegita kugira ngo hati murumbiroko kumuraremwe ituntu twakorabo ninga baremo abantu barabo konka pakatira America FBI ya leta inshongezo mu Congress mu ishengero yayo yaje kinyaburamwe muze ahari burebu nkandi information ndiza yinyine bayono batekateka kutere bishayi kutega bomo mu bishayi bakita abantu nyabwinji umubungereza umuri Spain niyo Madrid na umuri Italy hati nibenda kutera haba hemizano ya Champions League haba mizano ya Champions League abatuju niba kwenda kubarura bomu mu mizano ya Champions League mu kishayi kuita abangereza kuita abaspana kuita n'abafaransa kana na America na nimera ko mwenu abe mpira ba Champions League mwerinde nimo batagetingire kamba mangu Champions League ni sitamisa abantu binji mwene FBI yakorokurabora yajangwa America muteyibara muze arati ishayona batera mwena yo hati enete gabyona kangaruke ndi kubasibira agarugo makuru mugarebe.
Similar to the one that killed scores of people at a Russian concert hall last month just in the outskirts of Moscow, with the US government claiming that they had warned Russian authorities to expect such an attack. Now, speaking to a House panel, the FBI director Christopher Wray said that he has seen the threat from foreign terrorists rise to a whole new level after October 7th.
It is critical in securing our nation, and we are in crunch time with our 702 authorities set to expire next week. But now, increasingly concerning, is the potential for a coordinated attack here in the homeland, akin to the ISIS-K attack we saw at the Russia concert hall just a couple weeks ago. We also need funding to counter the threat from the People's Republic of China.
For long, US officials have been worried about the possibility of an attack carried out by an individual or small group following the outbreak of war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. And just days ago, police agencies across Europe boosted security after reports suggested that the terror group Islamic State allegedly planned to attack stadiums hosting Champions League matches this week in Madrid, London and Paris. The FBI chief raised the concern of a possible terror threat as the US Congress is fighting against time to renew its spy program, which is considered critical to US national security. However, it faces uncertainty as lawmakers are citing reservations over how the authority empowers warrantless domestic surveillance as well. The rift in Republicans is jeopardizing the extension of the program. The bill in question would renew Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act for 2 years rather than 5. It allows the US government to collect electronic communications of non-Americans located outside the country without a warrant. But what makes it controversial is that sometimes the data of Americans who are in contact with those surveilled
Sky Express Show ebyo nibyo byensi kandi nibyo ebitukuratira kureba okubera tambure mpaka eto abase kureba agency kutwara Russia rabwire Iran itechera akore kwata ko bakache otere Israel aho kugishasha konka America etine era atayire mu nshongezi America wagira hora akantu kakwatari America neza kwetorozaho neza kutera kandi neza kureta hortaro nirwe yongera kuno Russia yaza kurabura Iran kandi zona zo kwatagana zo kupinga insini ya America konka Russia yaza kurgaye kuzurabura Iran na Germany karabura Iran na Bungereza karabura Iran na Faransa karabura Iran nkanchi masango shayona wakore cyo bugwagwa gona ngakwehindura ngaga kurga munga kakuchapa tinza kurenga aha herijoba awa Sky TV na nakuru neto basakora hamwe ninjiranti ninya izedi omushikatwa karangi gambiri na wanyini ekikora tawo lunch time ruko show dona kabuza na ize boy bashirana kwa gasa kubamba bachakazana muziki kandi mazima ninyanti obusinje obwamurema rurema karema bugumeni mwena amina.